What's up, everybody? Jack Farr here on behalf of Box to Box Football. I'm here with our resident Barcelona expert, Timmy, and also with the co-host James as well. And today we're talking about something quite big, which is, in many people's opinion, the majority's opinion, the greatest footballer of all time, leaving the club at which he was so great. Rumours circulating recently about Messi potentially, I think, in the next year or so, leaving Barcelona. And we're just going to talk about it. Is it going to happen? Why should it happen? Should Barcelona try to keep him? What do we think's happening? So, Timmy, first of all, I don't want to ask you too much of a specific question, but what are your just first thoughts about this news coming out?
To be honest, I think I've gotten to the point where if Messi says he wants to leave, I mean, I don't think anyone can justify to stand in his way for what he's given the club. So it's not as if he wants to leave the club, then that was his wishes, he's done so and so. Although you can understand why they want to keep him. Now, the whole thing's kind of been sparked by the decisions made by the board in the way certain players are brought to the club, and he doesn't think the club's part of winning projects. And that was one of his promises he wanted, that was part of, I think it was a deal about a year or two ago, that he wants to feel as part of a winning project at Barcelona. And he feels that the current decisions made at the top of the club are not for the best footballing interests. And that's what's almost pushing away from the identity of who Barcelona actually are.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable. Before we started recording, I know you mentioned about the voting taking place, and Bartomeu may not, but you think he probably will be re-elected, and how much of a role that has to play. My big question in that case is, if the people voting on who the next president is going to be know that by virtue of voting him in again, Messi will leave, then why would you vote him in again? You've got Lionel Messi. Surely you do whatever you can to keep him.
That's the thing. So as the leading frontrunner, we all know is Victor Font. So massive Catalan figure in that area of Spain. He's backed by Xavi. They two have worked together, saying that if I win the election, I'm going to hire Xavi as coach of Barcelona. And that's a massive. It's been supported by a lot of the fans in the stadium, but they want Xavi and Victor Font. They want Bartomeu out, and a lot of people around just want the footballing to come back to Barcelona. Now, if Messi leaving is saying, if he says if you remain as president, if that report's true, then I'm leaving, then there's no real reason for you to vote for Bartomeu as well as the majority of his tenure at Barcelona being a president has really been kind of an embarrassment for the club in terms of their identity, their look, their representation of the club now side, because it seems like it's a club that's more based on football, based on money, based on scandalous deals, dodgy backhand agreements. There were reports, I think it was end of last year, start of this year, saying around companies saying that they were hired by the club to speak bad about players in the press conferences and in the media. There were board members resigning from the club a couple months ago. There were missing payment links that are going around, and this is all being made public as well. And that's just not who Barcelona are. So I don't think any person, even me personally, if I was voting, I don't see how you could justify to vote for this president again.
Yeah. Unless maybe it's keeping the corruption levels up and he does get in again. So in terms of Messi leaving, let's just say he does leave. James, I'm going to kind of throw it over to you. I know this is an obvious answer, but I do just want to hear you kind of verbalize it. What is the impact on European and world football and the culture of football when Lionel Messi leaves UEFA-based European competition and goes back to South America, as he possibly will? What's going to be the effect on world football?
I feel like an earthquake might happen, but especially in La Liga. Now, when Cristiano Ronaldo left for Juventus 2 seasons ago, you've seen a shift in La Liga. I feel there was a time where you can say La Liga was the dominant force in Europe when it comes to leagues. Then Ronaldo shifts to Juventus, and it's kind of lost its spark a little bit. The Clasico has really lost its spark. By Messi going, and especially losing Ronaldo, I feel it might take a few more years for La Liga to be back where it wants to be. Because by you losing your biggest stars, especially, we're not talking about an average Joe here. We're talking about, as you guys mentioned, the greatest footballer we've ever seen leaving Barcelona. It's going to be a massive effect, not just on the league, not just on Barcelona, but also the league. I feel a lot of revenue is going to be lost in so many ways.
And I think just turning this ever so slightly to discuss very briefly the Pjanic-Arthur swap. I think a lot of people, and we talked about this before we started recording, a lot of people looked at this as, what the hell are Barcelona doing? Juventus won this hands down. Now, I don't strictly share that opinion. I think Barcelona could have done a little better in the deal. In my opinion, maybe they should have tried to take another midfielder from Juventus instead of just the one. But the way I see it, at this point in time, Miralem Pjanic is a better player than Arthur, in my opinion. And what you're doing is you're taking a player and you're improving that position and you're making the most of Lionel Messi's time at Barcelona. I think we'll see the best of Arthur when Messi has left the club. And I think this deal represents trying to give Messi as much current support as he can while he's still at the club. You guys agree or disagree? Timmy?
I understand the point you're coming across. The only thing is that the sale of Arthur for Pjanic sparked some disruption in the change room. A lot, like the general squad did not like that deal because they felt as if Arthur was a very good player, and although he had not lived up, like he had not produced the performance of the duo he thought he'd be, like the next Xavi, they were still feeling that he's still a very good player that could still be one of the best in the world when he's older. Yeah. And they kind of felt like it wasn't really fair for the player, and it's not as if he's played bad games to warrant a decision. At the same time, it's not as if Pjanic has found favour under Sarri for the majority of this season, and he's not coming into a Barcelona squad where he's going to immediately start and playing game in, game out, because Setien isn't like that. And the style of what Pjanic brings to Barcelona, it's similar to Arthur's, but slightly different for what the player, what the team needs in that situation. They don't need another player like Arthur. They need someone that's a bit more dynamic in midfield. And I think because he's a bit older, that's where it's not, they don't understand it. Plus he got a 4-year contract as well, which means another 30-plus-year player on a long-term deal on high wages, which they don't like.
Yeah. James, what did you make of the Arthur and Pjanic swap?
I feel it baffled me at the start. I'm not gonna lie. A player who's in his 30s, he's turning 30 for a 23-year-old player who was many years left in the tank. I feel for me it would have depended on the player Barcelona brought in. If Barcelona would have said to Juventus, we want a player like Aaron Ramsey, then I could almost get it, because he's someone that isn't another deep line player. I feel Barcelona have too many of them. They have Frankie de Jong. They have Sergio Busquets, players who can sit back and spray some balls around. That's not what they need right now. They need players who actually break lines and get into the area and offer another option when attacking. And someone like Ramsey, I would have got that. I feel Pjanic just comes in and he's just another one in there for me.
What I'll say, James, Sarri has not been playing him in that more progressive forward, more forward position. He's been playing him a lot deeper, which I hate. I have no idea why somebody like Bentancur has played further forward and somebody like Pjanic has played further back. That blows me away. But in my opinion, Pjanic is still a better player put just in that kind of 10-ish role, or that slightly further forward midfield role. I know that's not strictly Barcelona's way, but I feel like if he can be settled into that position, we can see the best of Pjanic again.
My thing was, when's the last time Pjanic actually played in that higher advanced role? For Roma, he hasn't played that. For Bosnia, I can't remember that. He don't really play that role as much. He's molded, not just the manager, but he's molded himself into a deep line type of player who can play from deep. He's almost like a Pirlo type player. Barcelona are looking for someone who's a bit advanced. Like watching them play, I feel there's players, who can string passes together, but how many of them really get in the box and score goals? How many of them are threats in the final third?
So my question, Timmy, then, is Juventus arguably have the best midfield depth in world football. I mean, you take your pick. Why would you take Pjanic over, as James said, Ramsey, or I'm in love with Bentancur, just for example? Why would you not take these guys instead of Pjanic?
So I mean, when the rumor first started, I was thinking, oh, like he just want to go. And there were the players linked, I know, were Pjanic and Siglio. And I was thinking, Barca are looking to kind of offload Nelson Semedo at the time. Again, another strange decision for money. Well, that's a different moment. But I was thinking it's like I couldn't really understand it from a footballing perspective, because as well as players could be like, you can almost coach them into a role. I just a player with a natural kind of style that suited Barcelona, and it's his second season there. It's not an easy system to get into, especially with a coach as complicated in football in terms of Setien and what has to do different things. So it's not as if you can walk into a midfield like Barcelona, which is so key to their play, and just adapt straight away. It's very difficult to do that. So from a footballing term, I couldn't understand it. With Pjanic, I'm standing with James. Like if it was Aaron Ramsey, like. It makes sense in a footballing term. You got a player who can play with the team from midfield in a deeper point of view, but can also make late runs into the box and what they need. And he's robust. He can move. He can cover ground in midfield. And I just couldn't understand the deal from that footballing side of you. From the financial bit, the benefit is there. So like, the deal, we pay you, you pay us, to put that into like our next season's budget or whatever, and we get that whole sort of thing out. Like, I can get that. It's a bit of footballs, to get your transfer going, but that's the only benefit or the main benefit I can really see from this, to be honest.
So, I think I kind of stand on the fact that I agree Juventus got a much better deal. If you look at them trying to offload, say, Rabiot, Ramsey, whoever else, and now they also have Arta to build around for the future with Bentancur and a couple of those other guys, I think they're absolutely killing it in that side of the deal. I just didn't love the over-criticism that Barcelona got, because the way I saw it is you're giving Messi something better to work with now than something better when Messi's not there. That was my only thing. So, to conclude, like we do with a couple of other videos, James, I'll come to you first. Does Lionel Messi leave Barcelona anytime soon? And if he does, where does he go?
I feel every time a Spanish player is linked away, it's always due. They get their raise and everyone's happy, hunky-dory. Messi is destined to play for Barcelona for the rest of his career, maybe play for New York or Boys. I feel it would be the weirdest thing to see Messi in a different shirt that isn't a Barcelona shirt. He stays with Barcelona. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go next because I want to leave Timmy for the end. I agree. I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think it's about the money. I always do have this vision that Messi turns into this kind of dictating Pirlo type midfielder. I'd love to see that, Messi playing into his late 30s in midfield. I think that would be so cool. That's me being more like heart over my head, to be fair. But I just cannot see it. It's one of those where were you moments, and I just can't predict those kind of moments. So to me, he would stay. Timmy, what do you think?
Yeah, like I think the whole point of him leaving is like a warning sign, and it's not really much about Messi, but it's more about the club.
Yeah.
Like, what's gone on has led to a possible player like him leaving. So I don't think he's gonna leave, but I think that's more of a sign for the club to look like, yo, this is going on.
Throwing his weight around a little bit, as he should. Guys, let us know what you think in the comments. Obviously, we've had a pretty serious discussion there, because we're talking about one of the, if not the greatest player of all time, whether he'll leave the club or not. Let us know in the comments, what do you think? Is Messi going to stay? Is he going to go? What did you think of the Pjanic-Arta swap? Hit subscribe, like the video, share the video, follow us on social if you can. James, you got anything to say?
Subscribe. Let's get to 100,000. Hit that subscribe button, guys.
Guys, we'll catch you next time.